My man, how was the weekend?
Outstanding. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
You go from summer to the fall like that.
I think we've just passed through the summer equinox, and I think it is fall. So just relax and stop being one of those people
No,
that
no,
gets so worked up when the weather changes. I mean, dude, you grew up in the Northeast. You act like you've never seen seasons. Seasons change. Come on, dude.
First of all, I think the autumnal, whatever equinox is the 23rd. So I think it would be on Wednesday, number one. Number
I thought it
two,
was the 21st. All right, keep going. I could be wrong.
whatever. Okay.
I'm no
Maybe it's,
meteorologist.
who knows?
No Mr. G. I can tell you that.
No, you're not Herb Jakowski, which he's
Big fan of the show.
he's a huge fan of the show. I mean, he's been watching Fast Money since day one. I know that categorically.
So
but
as linear TV starts to move away, the fact that Mr. G continues to deliver, you can, any digital source, including Apple, my kids, no one goes and watches TV news, with all due respect for the weatherman, other than Mr. G. I mean, it's unbelievable that he's still hanging out. So my question for you though is when that first kind of nip in the air, do you find yourself, are you one of these guys that quickly puts on like that quilted fall jacket of yours?
you know what the answer is? The answer is no, because you've known me a long time now, and I am not that person. I don't even know if I own a winter coat, number one. Number two, what I do do.
Like a bulky, like Irish sweater or something,
No.
go out and throw the football with the boys.
No, it's the short answer is again, no. I had a nice T-shirt on yesterday. I was out there in what I would probably be wearing in the middle of August. But what I'll say is,
Okay.
this was the weekend where you bring in your plants, where you plant your mums, and maybe where you go apple picking out in like the woods of Westchester or mid-Jersey or Connecticut.
You don't bring your plants indoors. Your poor plants. First of all, it's going to be 90 next week, pal. All right. So you're going to have a greenhouse going out in your living room. You don't want it. And two, the first sign of mums in mid-August to me brings me into, I got to double the dosage on Prozac, because I mean, it is so, it's a sad moment when I'm wearing a tank top to the supermarket. Yeah, I said that. And I see that they've got mums out there. But my question to you about the apple picking, and again, real quick. So are you one of those guys that gets like the warm cider? Do you like the cinnamon stick in there?
100%. And I'll tell you what, I'll one up you. You mentioned an Irish sweater. I don't know about that, but I'll put a little Irish scotch in my warm cider.
Okay.
And I do believe, Tim, they call that a hot toddy.
The brash, tough talking, hey, I wear my T-shirt in the fall, yet you're actually getting a hot cider with a cinnamon stick as you're maybe going in the corn maze. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know about the corn maze.
Yeah.
And quickly, before we segue out of this, what I'll tell you is I was in the Lowe's this weekend, and they had, not only did they have Christmas stuff out there, they had everything under the sun you could think of for Christmas. I'm like,
dude, please, come on, do
me?
not.
No,
they don't have Christmas yet, because we haven't even gotten to Halloween.
Lil, wasn't there Christmas stuff in Lowe's? Didn't I tell you to take a picture? I'm asking my daughter. Sorry. And the answer is yes.
I trust Lily.
And I'll put it out on the Twitterverse later. Yes, it's without equivocation, as I'm known to say, the Christmas stuff was out.
Let's hold off on the Christmas special, because you and I, we've talked about that, and the young Mrs. C and this and that, heat miser, snow miser, winter warlock. Let's go back to the fall. A chilly fall Saturday, college football coming up, pumpkins, apples, cider, whatever, right? Right. Why are you laughing?
I love the snark in your voice, and just that when you make fun of my Italian accent. Hey, I love all that stuff.
I'm almost as Italian as you are, pal.
What the fall
I just palled you.
It's a time when fall is also a time when baseball teams
really
separate.
Is this what we're doing?
From
we're doing?
The have and the have-nots. And this weekend, unfortunately, I think it might have been the sort of the last hurrah for any of you New York Met fans who, it's amazing to me hearing the announcers talk about playoff hopes. The Mets have like the 8th worst record in baseball, and you're still talking about playoff. It's preposterous.
Hey, I will acknowledge that I think the run's over. And as a fan who doesn't need to win every year and sticks in there and loves his team because he's loyal, not the guys in the Bronx that ask you to take your checkbook out and re-ring it every year if you haven't won. You know, there were some great things that happened this year. And there's some things that obviously just didn't click. We'll be there next year. And I'll remind you that we're the most recent New York baseball team to play in a World Series.
To play in a World Series. I mean, if that's
in a World Series,
if that's
all right?
if that's the measuring stick, then yes. If that's the measuring
if you want to go
stick.
into October baseball, look, I mean, we've had a couple nice runs, and you know, we're not losing in the first round of the playoffs like you have a few years.
All right, so
anyway,
so
look, let's
go ahead.
Let's get back to the farm. What do you want to talk about today?
No, well, Apple. We mentioned Apple picking. So listen, from peak to trough, Apple went from 139-ish to 103. So the move, and you mentioned on the show tonight, it's a 25% downdraft in a couple weeks, and this is sort of in the realm of what we've seen over the last couple of years for Apple. So I guess my question to you was, today's sell-off and bounce enough to get you to get warm up to Apple?
It would be nice to think that it was, and I'm not rooting, there's no sour apple here, but I think a couple things are important. First, we've got a phone release next month. That can be anticlimactic, and I'm not sure. And you yelled to Lily. I yelled to my daughter Sky last night. What's going on with the new phone? They have a better beat on this than we do. And I'm telling you, I don't think we should be expecting a whole lot. I think the good news that's been priced into this stock and the exclamation point that came in that 4-to-1 share split. By the way, have you looked at that chart? I mean, if there wasn't a perfect chart of a Head and Shoulders, which could be taking this thing to 95, possibly 90. And I don't really do that too often, but it's absolutely symmetric so far, which brings you back to 360.
You're right about that.
And I'm using pre-split numbers because I think those are the numbers that make sense to us. 320, 285, 320, 360. And those are all levels on the stock, and we could go back into it, but 90, this is where I start, 80. These are some of the numbers that I think investors need to be looking at. The valuation is we're going to continue to have people lining up on both sides. We're going to have people that are going to say this is a 35 time. I mean, Gene Munster on our show with a straight face, and I like Gene, and he's on our show all the time. Obviously, we like him, but he's saying 35 times. I mean, are you kidding me? And yet there are people that are saying, look, we have to upgrade from a blended multiple of 16 times to 23, and that gets us to X. So I think that the debate rages on what's the multiple on the stock. The good news for Apple investors is that this is one of the best balance sheets in the world, will continue to be in the short to medium term. So it should always be defensive, and you should be looking to buy this company when you're in a downdraft. I am an investor in Apple, which means I'm a long-term investor, but I've also been a trader, and 75% of my position I am out of here. And that's something that, like a lot of other folks who are not fully in the name, they're watching their place to reengage, but it's not here.
Yeah, I think 96 makes sense for a lot of reasons. I mean, if you go back pre-split levels, that's sort of where it exploded from when they reported earnings and they announced the stock split. So 96, I think, really makes sense. But the reversal today was important. But you mentioned in terms of we got the beat in terms of your daughter. What I'll say is apparently there's some great Go-Go's.
Yeah, Go-Go's, man. Where are you going with this?
One of those shows about the Go-Go's, a rockumentary that apparently is must-watch. And I will tell you, I'm not ashamed to say
it's a guilty pleasure.
The Go-Go's has a place in my heart, without question.
They were trendsetters. They were one of the first chick new wave bands that really did they pave the way. There's obviously plenty of female acts before them, but they took the world by storm. Belinda Carlisle, that solo career. I mean, I think I had posters of Belinda Carlisle, and if I didn't, I should go get some now. But as we get out of here, I just want to ask you one question. You don't have to answer it or not, but on Mischief Night, and I know we're still a month away from Halloween. We'll have a chance to talk about it again. Did you ever go around smashing people's pumpkins?
No.
No. Come on.
No. I'm telling you. You ask me a question, I say no, then you give me a come on. Oh, you want me to say yes just to say yes? The answer is no. I didn't go around smashing people's pumpkins. I did go around on Halloween. What we get was a sock, and you put like powder in the sock and you know that whole thing, and you whack people.
No, I don't know. No, that sounds awful. Was that what they did to the guy in Full Metal Jacket?
I believe that's Vincent D'Onofrio was in Full Metal Jacket. He happens to be a huge fan of the show, and maybe we can get him on the commercial break to talk about that scene specifically. But we got to get out of here now.
See you tomorrow.
Later.